Evening, everybody. This is going to be my first video on my new channel. YouTube switched over to Google or something, however they did it, whatever they did, and I can't log into my old channel. So I'm going to have to try and rebuild my fan base. My subscribers have all been lost except for Dan. So for right now, this will be my channel. I got a couple things I wanted to talk about, but one in particular is this whole United Nations treaty issue. People are saying that the Senate can ratify a law to, can ratify a treaty and it would become law. There's an issue with that I have. But also that all these states are coming out with laws saying that they're exempt, or to become exempt from international treaty that interferes with the rights of Americans. Well, first off, I don't think the United Nations has the balls or the manpower to, first of all, invoke that on us, and secondly, to enforce it. To be quite honest with you, 3% won the revolution. I guarantee you there's more than 3% who will fight this time. Secondly, about that, the issue I have is a thing called the 9th Article to the Bill of Rights. People seem to be forgetting. You can't use the Constitution to delete rights that we already have. You can't use the Constitution to erase the Constitution. Least of all the Bill of Rights. The 9th Article to the Bill of Rights says that. We already have the law that says you can't do that. Now, the way I see it happening, with the restriction on firearms that everybody sees happening, which is why we see Ruger stopping production until they're caught up. That's why everybody's having trouble finding ammunition. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows what's coming. So what I see happening is more of taxation. Bureaucratic red tape. For example, the ban on importation of all those M1s that happened a year back or so. Ban on the importation of Saiga 12 shotguns. We're going to see bureaucratic red tape being wrapped around these companies, Stag Arms or DPMS or any of these other companies. And, yeah, stuff like that. I don't see another semi-auto ban. That would be political suicide, and you need to keep in mind that these people, all they want to do is get reelected. I don't see that happening, nor do I see the compliance if it does. And I think a complete ban on anything nationwide is just going to be laughed at. I tell you right now, out here, it's not happening. I live out in the country in Indiana, a little one-horse town of 500 people. You're not coming out here, and you're not taking the guns. Might not have any issue with Chicago or New York or any of these bigger cities, but you're not coming out of here and you're not taking the guns. But, you know, like I said, Obama has a plan. He's had it for a while, and if I'm trying to resurrect this information because people seem to have forgotten. He pointed it out very clearly what he wanted, and that was a 10-point plan to change the Second Amendment, I believe is what he called it. You know, it was a 500% increase on ammunition, no stores within, you know, I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to read it to you. But I really want this to be spread around, and I want people to see it. Here we go. Let's see. Ban use of firearms for home self-defense, which we see happening now. Pass federal laws eliminating your right to carry. which is what's going on with this Trayvon Martin thing. I'll get into that in a second. Ban manufacture, sale, and possession of handguns. Close down 90% of the gun shops in America, something else I'm going to touch on in a second. Ban rifle ammunition commonly used for hunting and sports shooting. Increase federal taxes on guns and ammunition by 500%. Restore voting rights for 5 million criminals, including those who have been convicted of using a gun to commit a violent crime. Expand the Clinton semi-auto ban to include millions more firearms. Mandate a government-issued license to purchase a firearm. Appoint judges to the Supreme Court and federal judiciary who share his views, the Second Amendment. So there's that. I'll put a picture in here somewhere, or a link to it or something. But there's his 10 points. Now, what I was going to touch on here. Let's see. Close down 90% of the gun shops in America. I used to live in Texas for a while. And I would go into this pawn shop that always, always helped me out with what I needed. And I saw a nice little revolver that I wanted, but I was working, didn't have the money for it at the time. I said, "Can I put this on layaway?" And he says, No, can't do layaway. You got to buy it outright." And I go, I thought it was something I did to him or something. And he then explained to me that FFL holders have a monthly meeting with a local ATF agent. And in that meeting, they said that their license was not going to be renewed. Not because they had done something wrong, but just to lighten up ATF's workload, to save paper, kind of thing. That was the excuse given. So in Texas, I believe it was only 1/3 of FFLs were renewed that year. That was 2010. So that, I can tell you right now, that gun shop that I was at, the pawn shop, almost all their business came from ammunition and firearm sales. But right now, they're no longer an FFL holder. So we're seeing that happen. Ban rifle ammunition commonly used for hunting and sport shooting. That's number 5. We're seeing that with the issues with lead-based ammunition and these environmentalist people saying that it destroys whatever. So we're seeing that happen. Let's see. Expand the Clinton semi-auto ban to include millions more firearms. I'm sure they want to do it. I don't think they will. I think that's, like I said, political suicide. And I don't think at this point that's something they're going to do. Mandate a government-issued license to purchase a firearm. Now, I know the Soviet Socialist Republic of Illinois does that. They have what's called an FOID and several other draconian measures to own a firearm. Appoint judges to U.S. Supreme Court and federal judiciary who share his views on the Second Amendment. And we see that, just to name a few, Sonia Sotomayor, La Raza or Aslan, one of those. She was a chairman for whatever. And I did skip one here. Ban use of firearms for home self-defense. You're seeing a lot of people going to jail and a lot of people getting in trouble for using their guns to defend their homes. And here in Indiana, we're seeing a law that just got signed into law by the governor, expanding the Stand Your Ground law, or whatever your state calls it, the Make My Day law, or the Castle Doctrine, whatever. Recently, I'm sure you've heard, the Indiana Supreme Court, last year, not recently, said that police have the right to enter your home without probable cause or warrant. That was the Supreme Court. Caused an uproar, but a sheriff came out within a few hours of that ruling and said that he'll go house to house with his deputies if he feels it necessary. And what we now see in Indiana is a law expanding the Castle Doctrine here, saying that anybody entering your home and you feel threatened or you feel it is unlawful, lethal force is authorized. So, I mean, we're having the same issue that we had during the war between the states, or the Civil War, as people now know it because of the school system, which is wonderful. But I'm not going to get into that right now. Let's see here. Number 2 in the 10-point plan is pass federal laws eliminating your right to carry. Now, this is what I had mentioned as the Trayvon Martin issue. I don't want to touch on it because in my personal life, Trayvon Martin has now become a household name, and I really hate that that's happening. I live in Indiana. I have my own things to worry about. I have a sheriff 2 counties over who thinks that he can go house to house and do whatever he wants. And I have my own things to worry about. That's the Florida justice system right now that needs to deal with that. That's the Florida people that need to handle that. I have my own stuff to worry about. But it pertains to my video. So, pass federal laws eliminating your right to carry. What we're seeing is the demonization of Zimmerman, George Zimmerman, and a lawful, legal right to carry citizen. I guess that's really all I need to say, is it's very clearly being used to demonize not just firearms, but people who have CCW licenses or CCLs, whatever your state calls them. And you know, it's all happening. All this stuff is happening. We haven't really seen the tax increase, but we are seeing a price increase. You know, that's not directly related. That's supply and demand, if you ask me. That's also has to do with inflation of the dollar and its buying power being destroyed. Anyways, not getting into that either. Number 7, restore voting rights for 5 million criminals, including those who have been convicted of using a gun to commit a violent crime. That was an issue in March, I believe, when the Illinois state was having their primary. Was one presidential candidate was going to allow criminals to vote and one wasn't, and it was such a big issue. Well, it's coming up. So, I mean, we're seeing all these points here, if not being fully enforced, at least beginning to be an issue to become enforced. Remember, inflation is just another form of tax. Inflation's another form of taxation. Wanted to add that in there. But I'll tack this picture on the end of the video here, and you know, send me some responses if you believe I'm wrong, or if you have something to add, or put in comments, do something. But I think it's time, you know, we start talking before we can't anymore. But that's all for me. Have a great night. Have a safe weekend. Take care, everybody.